Welcome to Off Air with Christy Capel. Today, I am joined by Traci Channer. This is going to be such a fun conversation. Traci is the founder and CEO of the Decided collection, Pajamas for Tween Girls. We got hooked up through Mary Flenner from the Tween magazine here in Cleveland, and she said, you have to talk to Traci. Her and I are on the same page. She's awesome in my magazines. I thought, this is perfect. I love the connection and the connecting with people and doing wonderful things, especially for kids. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. So let's talk about this. So it's called the Decided collection. Where did that name come from?
Oh, that's a great story. Actually, one of my best friends and I were in Ohio, actually at her grandparents' house many years ago. We were very young. And we were playing with fabrics and doing different things. And we were like, we're going to open a clothing store one day and we're going to have our own clothing line and we're going to call it Decided. And we drew a logo and we did all these things. And, we were kids. It never
of course.
went anywhere. And so when the idea came up for this, I was like, well, it has to be Decided. Like that has to be the name. And so very full circle moment.
Yes.
That's where the collection came from.
I love it. And I think all kids, like my daughter is almost 12 and her and a couple girls in the neighborhood have like this ballet bakery happening right now because they're both in ballet class and they both love to bake, but nothing has come of it, So like
all that creativity, though, you never know where that's going to go to down the road.
Yes. And you are a perfect example of that. So you talk about your dream. You left corporate America. Mm-hmm. At what point were you like, all right, this dream I had as a kid is going to become reality?
I'll be honest with you. It never even connected. It wasn't even about the childhood dream. It was, I left corporate America. Took me a little while to unwind from that. That had been my whole life. I really wanted to spend more time with, at the time, she's 11 now, but my young daughter. And we were pursuing adoption for my son. So I knew all of that was coming and I just wanted to take a break. My husband was going back to school to get his master's. And I knew I wanted to do something, but I was like, I'm just taking a break. I was ready just to kind of breathe a little bit. And it was during that time, my daughter turned around 8, 9, and all of the sudden her aesthetic completely changed. Like, I don't want pink. I don't want rainbows. I don't want glitter. I don't want my walls to be purple. Everything. Could not pick out clothes for her anymore. And I was like, well, it felt like overnight. I'm sure it wasn't overnight, but it really felt like that to me. And the one thing that we really struggled with was pajamas. We could not find her pajamas anywhere. She didn't like the fabric. She didn't like the print, the style, whatever it may be. And I started asking other parents, like, where are you getting your girls' pajamas? And they're like, oh, she wears my husband's old t-shirt. She wears, whatever it may be. And I thought, this is crazy. You guys are too young to not be able to have like great pajamas. Like everybody likes a great pair of pajamas.
Yes, we love pajamas here.
Yes. And so it gnawed at me. I couldn't let it go. I kept talking to my husband about it and I just kept dreaming about it and thinking about it. And I thought, if I don't pursue this, I'll regret it forever. Mm-hmm. And I have no fashion background. That is not my background at all. And so it was one foot in front of the other, one conversation in front of the other. And it took almost 3 years.
Wow. And so you notice the age appropriate pajamas were a thing. Yeah. Also, the gap in the market, as you mentioned, was a thing. Yeah, so you sit down at your table and go, where do I start? And just even looking at your website, which is beautiful, and you guys are going to love this when you order it. But all the ideas, and it's not the leopard prints, and it's not the hot pinks, and so you sit down and go, where do I begin?
Yeah, and it was really lots of research, right? Going on websites, looking at different things, talking to my daughter. She's an integral part of this business. I've had her look at every fabric swatch and color and design. And I initially hooked up with a fashion designer and she was great. She came up with some great ideas based on information that I had given her, but she wasn't really part of the manufacturing side of it. Right. And so that I will be honest, that was a very intimidating piece for me because there's so much I didn't know about manufacturing and there's lots of rules and legalities that go into children's pajamas. And
which I wouldn't even think that.
No, but there
Right?
are, because there's just certain things you can't have in place. And depending on the fabric, like if you want loose fabric, it has to be fire retardant. There's all these different things that I never knew about. I learned so much, which was wonderful. But I kind of sat for a few months because I didn't know what to do. I wasn't sure I had interviewed a few manufacturers. Nothing really felt right. And I was following my gut on this one because I was like, if I don't feel comfortable immediately, that's a no.
Yeah.
And so I joined an entrepreneur group. Entreprenista is actually what it's called. And I found a fashion consultant, and she's been amazing. We've worked together now for, a couple years now. Wow. It's been a few years. She's incredible. We've become friends. Our daughters are friends. It's amazing.
So from there, you said, okay, what does the fabric look like? Well, now my kids are all about cozy pajamas. So I know that that's kind of like where your thought was, right? Like, literally, Traci, my son, who is 8, will come home from school and put on a onesie. Like, remember the onesies when they were babies? Well, now, being in the pajama industry, they got jammies or onesies for adults now. Yes, so he literally has like 4 pairs of these onesies that he puts on. And then it's like when I come home, like a swimmer, like I just want to put on some sweatpants and lay on the couch. That is him. But then he's like, 30 minutes later, he wants to go outside and play basketball. He'll go out in his onesie. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so funny. Yes. So my kids are so into cozy. Like we use that word all the time.
And that was a really big piece for the line. Was my biggest thing was I want fabric that is incredibly soft. It's breathable. My daughter's a hot sleeper, so she will not normally wear pants or a long sleeve shirt. She just won't, even in the dead of winter. Yeah. These she will. She wears them all the time because it's a modal spandex, so it's very light and soft, and it has a little bit of stretch to it. It's incredibly comfortable. And it is kind of lounge wear to sleep wear, right? She'll come home, she puts it on, she'll wear it if we go out to breakfast sometimes or go into the store, because it doesn't look like she's in pajamas, right? And I think the funny thing too is, I'm sure you see this, but have you seen where the kids are always wearing like these flannel pants and things like that to school, the pajama pants?
Yeah, with some slip-on Uggs and a t-shirt. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're very much elevated version of that, if you will.
They are.
Look, it's it does look like athletic wear to a certain extent, but it's very much pajamas. You can sleep in it. You'll be incredibly comfortable.
And while we're talking, I'm going to show some pictures right now of some of the different designs, but kind of go through them. They had that racer back. Some of them have that kind of racer back look. So explain some of that. And it's kind of open too. It's airy.
Yeah, we have the tank top that has kind of that flyaway back, if you will. It covers everything. It's not, again, we're very much age appropriate. We don't want anything that's going to be too old for them. It's more mature, but definitely so much age appropriate. That was really important to me. But it's super cute. It says "Decided Me" on the back of it, which is or "Decidedly Me," which is one of our quotes. So we always say "Decidedly unique, decidedly me." That's kind of our tagline.
I love that.
And so we have that. We have jogger pants. We have a numbered shirt, which is very popular with the girls, and the shorts, which are so cute.
So
we have this great design on them. And then we have our original collection, which was very, very a simple aesthetic, but great colors. And everything, the great thing about our lines is that everything is mix and match. So the current stuff matches with the new, and we'll continue to build on that. So that this way, if you bought a couple pieces and then a few months later we come out with something new and you buy those pieces, they'll still go with the current look.
Okay, nobody does that. That is awesome. Seriously, you have to buy the matching tops and bottoms, and then you're out $100 or whatever. So that's great. And then color-wise, what are we looking at?
So the original collection is is a dark blue, a teal, and kind of, I'll say like a light beige yellow. And then the new, we introduced lavender. And so that's it's still the blues and the teals, but we introduced the lavender. And it really is just, it's spring, it's summer, it feels good. And it kind of for everybody. Some girls don't like purple, right? They don't like lavender. They don't like, my daughter for a long time was like, no to all of that.
That is my niece in a nutshell.
Yeah. So we wanted to have, that's why in the original collection, those are brand colors. And so that was why we launched with them. But the lavender will give us, and some of the newer designs will reach a different audience, right? Who's looking for those types of things as well.
And so what's your daughter saying? What are your daughter's friends saying? Like specifically, obviously they like it, but when you go to your daughter and be like, okay, let's go back to the drawing board. Like, what are the girls talking about? What do they want? What do they like?
That's a great question. That's kind of where the jogger came in. The numbered shirt was a big one because my daughter loves, I don't know, I'm sure she loves all the numbered shirts.
Yes.
And so that was she was like, Mom, we have to have that. And so that was her driving that. And then I go and do a lot of research just based on things that inspire me and that I think are great. And then I'll go and show it all to her and say, okay, this is kind of my mood board. I love, this is what I'm thinking. And she'll say, yes, no, I don't like that, like different pieces. And then I share all of that with the fashion consultant, and then she helps me bring that to life.
Yeah, it's nice to have those phenomenal women entrepreneurs in your corner to you can come up with a million ideas, but like right there to direct you.
Absolutely. And just, be a sounding board. And, when you're having those days where you're wondering, what am I doing? And do I know what I'm doing? And right. I mean, let's
daily.
We all have those days, right?
Yeah.
And they're, I wouldn't be here, honestly, if it wasn't for the support system and just people who are so invested in me and the business being successful. And I'm so grateful for all of that.
Yeah. And this is really like what my podcast is all about, is those like starting these businesses and the success and the failures and the journeys that you walk through and how it all started. I think a lot of people go, I just can't stop this and try something new. You need to go to the website because there's so much more than just all those awesome pajamas. But Traci's really into her mission work and stuff. And I've read a lot of interviews that you have done, and the blog posts are great. It really answers all the question of like, what is it about Traci that kind of started this business? Well, yes, it's her awesome daughter and the idea of girls being comfortable in their own skin. But talk about your mission in navigating raising our daughters. Like we always say as parents, they don't come with a playbook, these wonderful, wonderful children. Yeah. So we're just all trying to navigate the same way. And when you can navigate with other great moms and parents, it's just so important. So that's a little bit about your mission, but talk about that. And you say, quote, say, I can do anything, as Traci said, and being comfortable in your own skin. And so that's super important when raising our girls.
It is. The one thing I thought about a lot, especially again, having a girl and seeing her come into those tween years was, as adults, we do all kinds of self-help and right. We're listening to things and reading things, and there's affirmations and there's all these things that adults do. And I thought, well, what if we could reach them way sooner than that, right? What if you can get them in these formative years before they go into high school, and really just meet them where they're at? Like the one thing I always say to my daughter is, you're 11, just be 11. You don't have to be older. You enjoy this time in your life, because I promise you're going to look back and be like, those were some of the best years,
the easiest.
Yeah. Right. So I just want her to feel good in her skin and where you're at. Like, it doesn't matter what everybody else is doing, right? Find your own way, lead your own path. Like you're perfect just as you are. Yes. And I believe that about all of our young girls, right? They're perfect just the way that they are.
Yeah. And unfortunately, look at all the social media. I mean, that is Mary and Flenner and I talked about that. And
that's why for us, she doesn't have a phone. She's not allowed to be on social media. She'll watch YouTube videos, and how they like to do little dances and stuff like that.
Mine too.
But no.
Yeah.
I'm worried, and you hear all these stories of what that can lead to. And I want to raise a very confident, good human being. Like that's that's the goal. And I want all girls to feel that way. And so our brand is very much saying, you're perfect just the way you are. Oh, and by the way, we have different ways you can mix and match and create your own style within the pieces that we have.
Yes. And I feel like all girls are trying to kind of navigate their look, right? If it's whatever they're wearing to school or whether it's going to a slumber party or just whatever. And we were just, Mary and I were just talking like it's just these girls need a different direction. And you talk about the importance of parents teaching compassion and empathy. I mean, give us parents who are listening across the country, like, how can we teach that? Like, where do we start?
Because it's hard, right?
Yeah.
It's hard. The one thing I will say is I think our kids watch what we're doing. So we can say all the right things, but if we're not living that truth, they're following our lead, right? So they're watching so I can say to my daughter, you should be a good friend, or but if she doesn't see me being a good friend, or she doesn't see me having compassion for somebody, or, kids are kids, and they'll, sometimes you'll hear them say something kind of quirky about someone. And I'm like, not in a mean way, but to say, hey, how would you feel if somebody said that about you? Like that's, we don't say that. You don't comment on people's appearances. You don't, it's constant conversation. I think communication is 1000% the most important thing that you can have with your kids. And they're going to roll their eyes and they're going to act like they don't have to listening to you and you have no idea what you're talking about and all of those things. And that's okay. I'm sure I did that to my mom.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm sure we all
too.
Right? But for me, I can see it, months later, something will happen, or I'll hear her say something, and it's based on a conversation we had 3 months ago. And I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
You do know what, oh, yes. In that day, I'm like, I'm winning. You don't get those wins very often.
Oh no. Or do we think we're getting those wins at the very moment, right? At that very moment. And they're just like,
and they're like,
oh my gosh, how many times? Yeah. Are we going to talk about this subject again? I already heard you. And then you are so right, Traci. It literally will come out months later. And I'm like, you were listening? I didn't. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it's just, you have to keep trying. Keep having a conversation and keep using something in the moment that happens, or something you're dealing with or they're dealing with, or, you see together as a teachable moment to say, oh, did you see what so-and-so, let's say you go to the mall, right? And there's some kids acting a certain way, or you hear your daughter or son hear a child say something that they're, maybe was mean or it wasn't nice or whatever it may be. That's a moment to stop and say, okay, so what do you think about that situation?
Right.
How does that make you feel? Like, do you want to be seen that way? Do you want people, those types of things? And it's just repetitive. It's constant.
And I think with the tween age, it's sometimes hard to communicate. So what are your thoughts and advice on communicating with our tween girls and keeping that open communication? Sometimes it can, and I've seen it with parents shut down. I feel like I over communicate sometimes. I work in the news industry. Oh boy, I share a little too much where maybe she's afraid to walk out the front door some days. But I'm like, if this ever happens to you, I need you to tell me. You can't be safe with anybody at the school. Just be aware of your surroundings and be smart and what have you. But open communication is so huge, and it doesn't have to be with just mom and daughter. I mean, this is something that we need to work on with all kids.
Absolutely. And also, the girls and their dads, any adult figure in your life that's very important to you, like that communication is key. And they may not want to talk to you. Maybe they want to talk to their aunt or a friend, but it's saying, as a parent, like, I always tell my daughter, I'm like, I will not always agree with you. And I will let you know if I don't like something that's happening, but I will always, always have your back. I will always be there for you, no matter what. There's nothing you can do ever that will ever make me stop loving you, stop being there for you, nothing. Yeah. So I think she knows that, right? She knows she has us for whatever, but she also knows that I will tell her, you're wrong. Like, that was wrong. You should not have done that. You shouldn't have said that. I don't assume always that she's perfect. Right. So, she's a kid. They're going to make mistakes. That's how they learn. We're adults. We're not perfect.
Nope.
I think that's another key thing too, is for them to see you saying, you know what, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that way. I
Mhm.
shouldn't have. You circle back with them to apologize or to say, hey, you know what? I don't like the way that we handled that. That shows them that they can do that.
Right.
Again, I think it's really, I mean, it's no pressure on us, but it's, it's all, right? No pressure on us, but it's really all that they watch everything.
Yeah.
They watch everything.
They're little sponges. And I am like that, especially when my kid comes home, especially the oldest, and she's really good. She's the first, so she's a rule follower and what have you. And she'll come home with drama from some girl or something. I'm like, give me her name. Right?
No, but that's your instinct, right? You're like, I'm now mad at an 11-year-old. This is crazy.
I now want to fight an 11-year-old.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because you immediately get, and then you have to like, okay, let's talk what happened. And, what was your part? Did you say anything? Like, I'm always asking all of those questions to kind of dig deeper. And again, I'm sure I'm annoying. I'm sure I'm just like you. I communicate too much. I
just think it's better than not.
I do too. And I think that's the key.
Yeah. And all these years later, I feel like I'm just like my mother. She's passed. She's been gone for the last few years. And I just like remember things as a child because she would just continue to communicate and tell me. And I feel like that eventually will pay off, as you saw with yours 3 months later. Yes.
Yeah, my mom was the same way. Like, my punishment was an hour lecture. I'm not kidding. I would be like, can I go to my room? Like, I'll take anything. And she would be like,
just give me a spanking. It'll be quicker.
Now I'm going to repeat it all over again.
That is totally me with my 11-year-old at the moment. She'd just be sitting there. I swear they're nodding off. I'm kidding. Oh my gosh. So let's talk about some of the challenges that maybe you went through going back to the Decided collection with the pajamas. I mean, we all go through a journey, right? Especially when we're starting our own business and our own company. And maybe if it's just not the tween girls listening, if it's parents listening, like everybody goes through hard times. So kind of take us down your journey to how big you are now. I mean, this is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll be honest with you, even now, I mean, this is, you're in it for the long game.
Yeah.
I'm still very new. I just launched last November, and it's still building awareness and trying to get your name out there and getting people to trust the brand and trust what you're trying to do and trust the quality. And, I mean, there's a lot of noise out there. So it's trying to break through that noise. I would say for me, I was so heads down, so focused on the day-to-day and just wanting to launch, right? Like getting products delivered and getting the website set up. And I didn't do a ton of promoting on the front end before we launched. Mm-hmm. I was just so, again, you're one person and you're doing a million things. That was one thing that I did struggle with was, when do I start talking about it? And how do I, now I have a totally different view of that. And in hindsight, I tell every new entrepreneur that I'm talking to or anyone who's getting ready to launch a product, I'm like, just start talking now, 6 months before, don't worry about it. But at the time, you have to live and learn. So that was definitely a little bit of a challenge for me. Whereas now I'm, again, totally different mindset. I mean, it's funny as an entrepreneur, when you first start out, the things that you're thinking about and you're worried about, and within 6 months, the way that you're totally different in the way that you're thinking and the way that you're executing and the decisions that you're making. And so that's an interesting part of it. And I would say the biggest challenge for me, honestly, was the manufacturing. That was a really big, I probably sat for a good 4 months, 5 months, just standstill, not knowing what to do, working on other things that I knew I could work on, branding, building a website and doing different things like that. Couldn't move forward. And I'm like, if I don't have product, I have nothing to do. And so it was really a blessing finding a fashion consultant, her understanding my mission, her being able to get me the fabric that I wanted, and, really seeing things move. That was great. But so I say that too, because I'm sure a lot of people listening may have a dream and they don't have that background. They don't know any, it's okay. Like, you have to take the leap of faith And I would say the biggest thing is if your why is strong and you really, really believe in what you're doing, like to your core, to the point where if you don't do it, you'll always regret it. Go for it.
Yeah, let that be your sign.
Let that be your guiding light and just go. And I promise you, the universe will it's amazing how once you speak it, things just start to come into your path. It's really incredible.
And don't think this happened overnight. I mean, Traci's been working on
No.
this a long time. Like a lot of people, well, I guess a lot of the young kids want to be YouTube stars and all this stuff. And then they listen to YouTubers and they're like, man, it took me years to get that many followers to even do anything. And these kids think everything's going to happen overnight.
No. And that's a great thing, even for my daughter to see, is the work that goes in, right? This isn't just, oh, I have an idea and poof, overnight it all, she is part of packing orders and, hearing, oh, Mom, you're doing a podcast interview. That's amazing. Like, all of those different, you're doing this, who are you going to see? Or, what, all the different parts of the business. And so that's been really good for her to see. One, that she knows she can do it. Like, she's been such a great part of this, and maybe down the road, she'll want to do something, for herself. And, but also to see that it takes hard work. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah. And you talk about your daughter, and as months go on and years go on and new phases, I guess, of our daughters' lives and keeping up with the trend and what have you. What are your ideas and dreams for the future? And I know she'll be a huge part of that as other things become popular in colors and styles and what have you. But do you have like this dream where you want to see this company go?
Yeah, I have lots of dreams, which is the hard part. One piece that I will speak on to you brought up the blog thank you for mentioning that. I really want to create a community for moms of tween girls where they can, we're more than just the pajamas. Obviously the pajamas are incredible and I want everyone to go and buy them and love them. But I want to also be a place where they can go to get information, to feel like, oh, hey, I saw, there was this great article about affirmations or skincare, or, we had a dermatologist that we did a Q&A with, which
that was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, just all of those different things as we're starting to navigate these different years and things that our girls are going through. I don't know. I have tons of questions. It's my first time going through this with my daughter, right? And I have a little guy. So when he starts to go through things, that'll be a whole different journey, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think creating that community is really important to me. I want to start to introduce different products. Like, I would love to, do more than just PJs and start providing different products for tween girls, just based on all the things that I know my daughter loves, and that maybe there's other pieces we struggle to find. And I would really love to be known as, a top brand in the tween space. I mean, that's my goal, is to really be somebody where I can inspire other people to create products for tween girls.
Well, I have no doubt that is going to happen for you. And I love that you are taking this on, because I know a lot of us moms who, I only can draw stick figures on a piece of paper, much less create a clothing brand or anything in that creative department. But you are doing everything for us that we wish that we could figure out for our girls. And I think, and after seriously reading your blog, that you need to go in that direction too. The pajamas will start to come natural, and your daughter and her friends will start to help that, and that's going to blow up. But I think also is we need help and direction from somebody who will take a stand on getting rid of all the obnoxious garbage that is being pitched to these tween girls. It's such a part of life that's just so sensitive. That is just very important at this middle school age and this tween age, to get them and raise them up to be amazing women and entrepreneurs for themselves someday.
Absolutely. And I think, like I said before, like really hitting them before they get to those high school years. This is where, right, we're building them up to be prepared for that. And I feel like we just need to meet them where they are.
Yes, very.
They continue to instill that confidence and redirection when they need it and those types of things.
I am so excited to try your pajamas. She's going to
thank
love
you.
them. I will, my kid, and her friends too. I'm going to link everything though. I will put the website again. It's the Decided Collection, Pajamas for Tween Girls. Go on there, check out the blog. Traci's amazing and has such wonderful things that she talks about and subjects I think that we as moms and parents can read and then relay that to our girls. So thank you for all you're doing. Go check her out. She's on Instagram, all the socials, and grab a pair of pajamas. I would say for Christmas, but that's far away. So you can buy them now and then wrap them up, or buy them now and give them to your kids and then buy more, because that's what you're going to end up doing anyway.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful speaking with you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Traci. And we will be looking forward to all that's to come for sure.
Thank you.
Bye.